Hi friends, today we will discuss the topic, the rise of Islam in South Korea, conversion boom, youth embrace and 2025 future. In recent years, South Korea, a nation known for its rapid technological advancement, strong cultural identity, and deeply Confucian and Christian traditions, has experienced a subtle yet notable religious transformation that has caught the attention of observers both locally and globally. While Christianity and Buddhism have long been dominant religious forces in South Korea, the emergence and steady growth of Islam within this East Asian country has prompted new discussions about identity, globalization, and spiritual searching in a rapidly changing world. The rise of Islam in South Korea is not merely a statistical change but a reflection of deeper societal undercurrents, involving issues of migration, cultural exchange, youth disillusionment, and the search for alternative meaning in a hyper-modern society. This quiet yet significant Islamic awakening is being fueled by multiple factors, including the influence of migrant communities, a growing curiosity about Islamic spirituality among young South Koreans, and the role of global information exchange in breaking down stereotypes and misconceptions about the religion. Islam's presence in Korea can be traced back to historical interactions along trade routes and brief military exchanges. However, its modern reintroduction began more tangibly with the arrival of Turkish troops during the Korean War in the 1950s, many of whom were Muslims and who introduced some Koreans to the basic tenets of Islam. It was during this period that the groundwork for Islamic communities was laid, albeit in very modest forms. The formal establishment of the Korea Muslim Federation in 1967 and the construction of Seoul Central Mosque in Itaewon in 1976 further solidified Islam's presence in the country. Yet, it remained largely on the periphery, with a small population of local converts and foreign Muslim workers forming the core of the Islamic demographic. For decades, Islam was seen by many Koreans as foreign, exotic, or even misunderstood due to limited interaction with actual Muslim individuals and due to the lens of global media narrative shaped by geopolitical conflicts involving Muslim-majority countries. However, the 21st century has ushered in transformative global shifts that have made societies more interconnected than ever before. South Korea, with its advanced internet infrastructure and globally connected youth, has found itself at the crossroads of these changes. The internet, particularly social media platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, has allowed South Koreans to learn about different cultures, philosophies, and religions directly from practitioners rather than filtered through biased or stereotyped perspectives. Korean youth, known for their technological fluency and openness to global trends, began exploring topics such as Islamic dress, prayers, fasting during Ramadan, and the concept of Tawheed, monotheism, out of curiosity. What began as an exploration quickly evolved into admiration and, for many, into a sincere commitment to embracing Islam. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Islamic rise in South Korea is the demographic profile of the converts. Unlike many other countries where conversions may be spread across age groups, in Korea the surge is predominantly among the youth, especially women in their 20s and 30s. These individuals are often highly educated, well-traveled, and fluent in multiple languages. They cite reasons such as the clarity and discipline of Islamic teachings, the sense of peace derived from regular prayer, and the holistic nature of Islam in addressing both the spiritual and practical aspects of life. Many converts report being drawn to the strict moral guidelines and the simplicity of Islamic monotheism in contrast to what they perceive as the overly materialistic or spiritually shallow options in their native culture. Another notable element in this rise is the significant role played by Muslim expatriates, especially those from countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, Indonesia, and the Middle East. With South Korea's labor shortages in manufacturing, construction, and domestic help, many Muslim workers have made Korea their temporary or permanent home. In doing so, they brought with them not just their work ethic, but their culture, values, and religion. Some began teaching Korean locals about Islam informally, offering translations of the Quran and organizing cultural exchange events, especially around Islamic festivals like Eid or the holy month of Ramadan. These human interactions gradually broke down barriers and demystified Islam for many Koreans who had never met a Muslim before. Furthermore, the South Korean government's initiatives to diversify tourism and trade also played an indirect role in promoting awareness of Islam. As Seoul aimed to attract tourists from Muslim-majority countries, businesses began to adopt halal practices, and prayer facilities became more common in airports, malls, and restaurants. These changes, while economically motivated, exposed Koreans to Islamic practices and fostered a more accepting environment. Additionally, Korean celebrities and influencers occasionally exploring Muslim fashion or traveling to places like Dubai and Istanbul led to further intrigue among their followers about Islamic traditions. It would be remiss not to mention the role of Islamic education and dawah efforts in South Korea. Islamic centers, such as the Seoul Central Mosque and the Korea Muslim Federation, began offering classes in English and Korean, targeting both Muslims seeking knowledge and non-Muslims curious about the faith. Many imams and scholars trained abroad started delivering khutbahs, sermons, in Korean, making Islamic knowledge more accessible to locals. Online platforms like YouTube featured Korean converts sharing their personal journeys to Islam, often narrating stories filled with emotional depth, internal conflict, and eventual spiritual clarity. These stories resonated with viewers facing similar existential dilemmas in a society that often pressures individuals to conform to rigid social and career expectations.